Every day in crypto is an adventure. The last couple days did not disappoint. We had highs, lows, and everything in between. And there's a couple things you probably missed in the mix. I'm going to talk about those. Very bullish for crypto that have been overshadowed by obviously lots of other things. We're going to talk about the tariffs and how I think this is a short-term event and that it's just part of the plan. But overall, every day in crypto is super exciting. So if you're not a subscriber, we put out new shows every single day. So hit the subscribe button now so you come back and see us. Now, before we go any further, if you own one of the Fab Five, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, Cardano, if you own one of those five, hit the like button now to show your support and put down in the comments below which ones you own and why you think that one or which one you think is going to blast off. So with that being said, remember, I'm not your financial advisor. This isn't financial advice. We got a great show for you today. So let's get going with the obvious. So the obvious to me right now is why the original pump happened on Sunday. You've probably already seen this. Trump on Truth Social. A U.S. crypto reserve will elevate this critical industry after years of corrupt attack by the Biden administration, which is why my executive order on digital assets directed the presidential working group to move forward on a crypto strategic reserve involving XRP, Solana, and ADA. I will make sure the U.S. is the crypto capital of the world. We are making America great again. And then he came back a little bit later. He said, obviously, Bitcoin and Ethereum are other valuable cryptocurrencies will be the heart of the reserve. I love Bitcoin and Ethereum. Well, there's no guarantees here. It says a presidential working group to move forward. So he's putting together a group like he said he would to do this. Now, remember, they need congressional approval to spend the taxpayer dollars. So anything they put together still has to go through Congress. It's not going to happen day one or day two or day 100. It's going to happen over time. But this is the most bullish thing for crypto we've ever seen, ever. The biggest country, the most successful, most powerful country in the world is going to stockpile crypto one way or another, hopefully. That's what the presidential working group is. And then the very next day, so this was a God candle. We're going to look at the charts in a second. And then the very next day, boom, we have the S&P fell 1.7%, the Nasdaq dropped 2.6%, and Dow Jones dropped 1.5%. Nvidia down 8%. All of Magnificent Seven stocks declined. So broader economy freaked out over what? Trump tariffs again. Let's listen right from Fox News here.
President Trump just announced his tariffs on Mexico and Canada will go into effect on March the 4th.
That's today.
He also said China will be charged an additional 10% tariff.
Just an add-on.
Peter Navarro joins us. He's Mr. Trump's senior trade and manufacturing advisor.
Look, there's a reason for these tariffs. It's short-term pain, long-term gain. That's the stance that Trump's going to take. Really, it's about negotiating a fair deal. Now, I'm not saying I'm all 100% pro-Trump. And yes, these are short-term pains for everybody. But, when a country's taxing you when you bring goods into there, but you're not taxing them when they bring goods to us, how is that fair? How is adding tariffs unfair to those who tariff us? That's the point of view, to get better deals. He's trying to leverage. Remember, he wrote the book, Art of the Deal. And that's what he's doing. Everything he's doing right now is to set up the deals that he's putting together. That's my opinion. I could be wrong. So I'm still very, very bullish long term. And here is why. I consulted Grok on this. The trading with Canada, Mexico, and China. Because that started last night at midnight, that these tariffs are going to be introduced to them. Now, we have a trade deficit with all three of these countries. We buy more from them than they buy from us. Now listen to that. We buy more from them than they buy from us. There's a trade deficit of $63 billion with China, $60 billion with Mexico, $280 billion with China. Did I say China first? That's Canada, Mexico, and China. Big deficits. Now, we still sell them a lot of goods. But look at this deficit versus a GDP. I'm talking about just the deficit, not the amount of goods we sell them. For them, the trade deficit to Canada is almost 3% of their GDP. Our trade deficit with them is almost 3% of their GDP alone. Now, if you look at in terms of their sales versus their GDP, it's a very big portion of their GDP. Now, I can ask it, and this is the case with all three of these countries. Now, it's a very small percentage of our GDP. We can stand to lose this. We sell them less than they sell us, And what we sell them is a very small part of the GDP. And so it's way more important to them than it is to us. I'm not saying it's not important to us, but what do they buy from us? They buy a lot of machinery. If you look at what they buy from us, we buy nonsense. I mean, we buy some important stuff from Canada, Mexico, and China, but we buy a lot of nonsense from them. They buy important things that help them make the things that they sell us. They are very dependent on our goods and service, our technology and our equipment and our machinery. Well, that being said, there's going to be a tariff on those things. So that's the base of how they build things, is they buy the machinery from us. So that's just one point on these tariffs. Will be short-lived. I don't think they're going to last long. It might be painful in the short run, but they're going to work out a deal at some point. And that's all he wanted to do, is bring them to the deal table to make a better deal for the United States. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this unfolds. This might be over in a matter of days as far as the consequence to the pricing of assets like stocks, bonds, and crypto. We shall see. Here's where we are right now. Now, this is the one-day map, and I showed you earlier this week. I'm like, look, we hit a double top. I called this weeks ago, and it had a top, went down, fought back up, got resisted, came down, bounced off a floor of support, bounced up to a new high. That was back at the inauguration right here, 109 and change. And then it came down, broke the neckline, broke down below this resistance, bounced off a floor of support here, made it back into this realm. And then what happens? Trump announced on the Sunday prior to the tariffs going into effect that there's all this great crypto news coming, right? Bitcoin strategic reserve, digital asset strategic reserve. So he announced all these things right before he knew that these trades were going to take an effect. Why? Because it's better to fall from here than from here and ruin the crypto. And so I think this was partially motivated to not let the crypto market completely get obliterated here and bust through another floor of support. So we had this recovery. We had this real V-shaped recovery based on not a lot going on in the last couple of weeks. Bounced up. I mean, gosh, it took a pretty significant bounce. It went from all the way down here to here, was about a 21% bounce pretty quickly just to have that fall back down. Now, is it going to bounce up again? Are we going to have a W-shaped recovery? Boom, 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 get back down, then to go back up? It's very possible. Now, look, right now, we're at 83 and change, 88. Now, if it busts much below that 84 and holds a candle, it could fall back down to that $70,000 level. So I am watching this. I haven't put on new trades yet because I think this is going to be a very, very volatile week. Look at what the crypto's doing in the last day. It's down significantly in the last week. Despite the Trump pump and the Trump dump, ADA still up 22%. Not bad. HBAR up 30%. The rest, Algo up 2.3%. I think Tron up 2.2%. Bitcoin Cash 6%. But for the most part, XRP is still up 4%. So for the most part, most of this stuff's down. Now, if this happened in the asset stock world, dude, people would be jumping off buildings, unfortunately. Excuse me. All right. So moving on. Last thing. There's some real positive news that kind of got overlooked. Didn't see anyone talking about it. And that is that the SEC drops their lawsuit against Kraken. So it says, in a massive win for crypto, the United States of America, this is from David Ripley, and the world, since our inception, Kraken has operated with integrity and dedication to doing the right thing. Well, let's hope that these companies do work with integrity, and then let's hope that someone in the U.S. will crack down on them if they do not. Because I don't know all the details of the Kraken one. I just know that pretty much everyone else has been settled right now. Kraken, Coinbase, Robinhood, MetaMask, Hex, now, like I said, Kraken. But Binance has been paused for now with the SEC. So really the last one is XRP. When are we going to hear about XRP? Now we have other big news. We have the Crypto Summit on Friday, March 7th. That's just around the corner. And I do believe that that we'll get a little bit more clarity, but I don't think anything monumental will be decided then. But just looking at who's invited, there's a bunch of powerful minds, and they're probably, as true Summit fashion, getting information from each other and hopefully helping formulate a better path forward for crypto for the future. That being said, that is pretty much all I got. If you're not a subscriber by now and you've made it this long, dude, just give me a subscribe down below. Hit the like button, share it with someone you think might benefit, and I will see you next time.